There are 5,000 rules on so many blogs about how to navigate social media, how many times you should post, when you should be posting, how you should be posting, how long your caption should be. Do you need AI to help you, or are you going to do it all off the top of the dome? There are so many different ways to approach social media, but when you are an author, none of those rules apply. So let's talk about it. My name is Chelsea and I write books about Black girls who aren't all that nice. And if you've been here before, you already know what this is. So let's go ahead and get into it. I do want to give you guys this disclaimer that everything that I'm about to tell you is going to be very countercultural to the advice that you're going to get online. And that is because what I'm sharing with you are things that I have learned from personal experience, ups and downs, trials and error. So that said, take everything I'm about to say with a grain of salt. If it works for you, great, take it, use it, be successful, run with it. If it doesn't, I understand. Remember, this is just advice. This is not the end all be all. I am not God. Okay? That being said, step number one, pick one platform and get really comfortable with it. Note that I did not say good at it. I said comfortable with it. Get comfortable with showing up, get comfortable with being seen there, get comfortable with being present in one place, and be comfortable with understanding what your boundaries are when it comes to posting. Especially as an author, a lot of us are introverts. A lot of us do not have a lot of time, energy to dedicate to things that are not writing, especially if you still have a full-time job, if you have a family, if you have any commitment outside of being able to sit down at your desk and bang out the words. So in order to manage your time, I highly recommend picking one platform. So if you like making video content, get comfortable with TikTok, get comfortable with Reels, get comfortable with YouTube and show up for it consistently. That is going to take a lot of burden off of your mind, because a lot of the advice that you're going to see is to be everywhere, to play the numbers game, to be on Instagram and Twitter and Blue Sky and TikTok and every other platform that you can think of. And if you have the bandwidth for that, that's great. If you have the time to repurpose your content for 5 different platforms, that's great. But if you don't, that's fine too. So if you are one of those people where you're like, Chelsea, I can do one thing, I could post maybe once or twice a week, I understand, I feel you. I recommend sending your newsletter out at least once a month. I recommend picking your favorite graphic or visual medium, whether that be Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, whatever you have to create visual content for. Post on that once a week if you're able to. And if you have a text-based platform that you like Blue Sky, or I don't know why you would still be on X, but if you're still there, if you're on Threads, whatever platform, post on that as you can. I would say no less than 3 times a week. And if you can do that, you can show up in those spaces, you can be consistent, then that is really going to help establish you as an author. That's going to help establish you professionally, and it's going to help people be familiar with you so that when they do go to look you up, like hopefully they will do once your book is out in the world and they fall in love with it and they want to know more about you, in order to build this audience, you have this consistent showing up without this expectation that you're going to be there all the time, every day, nonstop. Because if you're on Threads every day, all day, every second, and every piece of bookish drama, then when are you writing? When are you living? When are you doing the things that you need to do as an author that you set out to do in the first place? The goal with picking one platform and being consistent with it is to not get consumed with social media, but to use it to your benefit. That being said, that leads me to point number 2 of using social media as an author, and that is to be a part of your community and not a drain on it. What do I mean by that? I'm going to hold your hand when I say this because I know this is going to hurt someone's feelings. No one cares about your book. And I say that with love. I say that with love. But it's important to remember the social part of social media. People are there to make connections. People are there to network. People are there to talk to other people, not bots, not people who are constantly trying to sell them something. Yes, I understand that you're probably sitting on the other side of the computer screen being like, but Chelsea, I am literally on social media to sell my book. Yes, but humans sell products. Products don't sell products, if that makes sense. Your book is only as interesting as you are. What you want, especially if you're trying to be successful as an author, if you're trying to have a career as an author and not just one viral moment, is you want people to be invested in you, the person, the author. That way, they're not just getting this one book that sounds interesting to them and then forgetting about you. They're getting this one book and they're being invested in your journey. They're being invested in your next project. They're being invested in your events. They're being invested in your interviews. They're signing up for your newsletter. They're following you on social media. They're engaging with you. They're telling other people about you. You're staying top of mind because, pro tip, the hardest thing about marketing your book is getting word of mouth. And the easiest way to get word of mouth is to be top of mind so that when people come across things like, hey, I'm looking for Black fantasy books, someone could be like, hey, you should check out C. Lockhart Wright. She writes We Are the Origin and We Are Dying Gods and Death Among the Stars and Magic in the Melanin. She has all of these books. You should check her out. Guess what? That is now putting me in a conversation that I neither saw or was a part of, but that word of mouth is helping me reach more people than I ever could have on my own. And ultimately, that is what you want. That's why you're picking one platform and showing up consistently so people get familiar with you. And that is why you are being a part of the community. So you're going to not only post about your books, but post about your process, post about what you're working on, post about what you're reading, post about what you're excited about, post about your cat. People love cats. So post about whatever you feel comfortable with. And pro tip, this is not to say that you can't have boundaries. I think you should have boundaries, especially if you don't want to post your whole life online. However, that doesn't mean that excuses you from showing up online as a person and not just someone trying to sell a product online. So if you don't want to post your personal life, that doesn't bar you from commenting on other people's posts, from resharing, from posting an opinion. There's always some small bit of writer content that you can share to let people know that you're here, you're present, you care, you're a person, and you are here to connect with them, not just sell them a product. And what that does is when people know that you are real and a person and they care, that is when you can share your post like, hey, I have a cover reveal, and people will be excited about it because now you're more than just a username. You're more than just a profile. You're more than just someone that passes through their feed occasionally. You're a human being that they are invested in, that they want to see be successful. And that is how you get fans. That is how you get word of mouth. That is how you grow your audience as an author. And ultimately, that is the purpose of using social media. So once you have picked your platform and you're showing up consistently, once you have started engaging with the people on that platform and contributing to it as part of the community, then we're going to get to point number 3, which is for you to remember that you are an author, you are not a social media influencer. And the reason I say that this is so important is because as you get deeper into this, as you become more part of the community, as you get more familiar with your platforms, you're going to see so much advice, especially if you choose to be on TikTok or Instagram or YouTube, talking about the algorithm and the changes to it and what you need to do and how many times you need to post. And I believe, don't quote me on this, look it up for yourself, but I believe the last thing that I saw for Instagram is that you need to post 4 to 6 times a day in order to satisfy the algorithm. That's a lot. And if you're up for that, go for it. But never forget that the reason you are using these platforms is because you're an author trying to reach your audience. So ultimately, you're playing an engagement game, not a numbers game. You want people who care about you. You want people who are going to buy your book. You want people who are going to talk about your book. You want people who are going to engage with you in the comments. You want an active, engaged audience. You're not playing a numbers game. You're not trying to have the algorithm pushing you out to hundreds of thousands of people who are just coming for a brief moment, who are going to follow you and then never interact with your content again. That's not what you want. You want people who are going to be behind you, behind your brand, and behind the books that you write. So remember that it is okay if you do not conform to the social media rules on every platform, because your goal, the way you should hopefully be spending your time, is writing books and making sure that you are staying focused and, as they say, keeping the main thing the main thing. And that is, you're an author. You write books, you are a storyteller. And I don't want you to get lost in trying to promote yourself and market yourself, that you forget why you began promoting and marketing yourself in the beginning. Because again, I don't know if this is a pro tip, but pro warning. Social media is a slippery slope and it can consume your life, especially if you're trying to play the games. If you're trying to post 3 times a day, 5 times a day, post to your stories, post to your reels, posting your community posts, posting long captions, posting short captions, resharing things, creating unique things, creating polls. all of that stuff will consume your time, and you will look up and have spent hours on these things instead of hours on your story like you had sat down to. Admin work can be a black hole, a rabbit hole, whatever you want to call it. It will suck you in and not let you go. That being said, social media is definitely something that you have to learn to navigate as an author and to be comfortable with. And ultimately, all of these things that I'm suggesting, picking one platform to be consistent with, being a part of the community, and remembering that you are an author first, feed into this idea that you can show up on social media as much or as little as you want to, as long as you are there, as long as you are consistent, and as long as you are a whole person and you present yourself as such online. Then you will build an audience of people who are interested in you, who are invested in your stories, who are invested in your career. And that ultimately is going to get you much further because, again, bonus tip, the goal of social media is to build an audience so that when you post your second book, you don't have to do all of the groundwork that you're doing for your first book again and again and again. The idea is for it to snowball. The idea is for you to gain momentum. The idea is for this to get easier the longer you do it. And if you do it correctly, if you show up, if you are consistent, if you keep the main thing, then people will notice, people will follow, and people will support. And ultimately, that is the goal. So that being said, that is kind of my 2 cents on navigating social media. If you have any questions, for sure, drop them down in the comments below. And also drop your handle and your favorite social media platform. Let's follow each other. But that being said, I appreciate you guys for being here, and I will see you in the next video. So until next time, I hope your days are lovely and your books are interesting. Bye guys.